hi, everyone. Let me hit that button. Hi! Hello! We're here. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. It's almost the holidays. It's a void.
It's a void that wants attention until I just give him attention.
That sounds like a cat.
Well, no, because my other cats, they paw at me and say, "Mommy, we want attention," and I hold them and they're happy.
This one's just like, I didn't know what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting.
Well, now also
My way
Mocha's
is like
sitting down here staring at him, so that's what he's staring at is her now.
Well, fun. Fun. Yeah, you guys can support us for as little as $1 on Patreon. I don't have any funny transition this evening, unfortunately. Support us for as little as $1 on Patreon, which sounds a lot less than what Twitch sub prices are going to be when they go up again in February. That's right, they're going up another $1 in the US in February. They hopefully are confirming it in their newsletter that's coming out on Friday. And then you guys can also check us out and support us on the merch store, worldcupgamers-shop.fourthwall.com. New stuff coming soon. TM. I think that's it. I don't have anything witty or snappy to say tonight. It's been 105 sessions. Average session time is 3 hours and 13 minutes. That's right, I counted. I did not do the final math on it like I promised I was going to do. That is 340 hours. Or approximately 1/3 of One Piece. So if you...
Wow, that much?
Yeah. So if you ever sit down and think, you know what, I'm going to watch One Piece, you could support us by watching our campaign 3 times over on YouTube instead.
And like next week, there will probably be even more One Piece, too. By the time you're watching this, it will be less than 1/3 of One Piece.
That might be very much the case. Oh man, actually that was a perfect plug to drop that in there too. We will be no longer dual streaming in the new year. We will be doing VODs on 2-day delays over on YouTube. So if you're interested in watching stuff, go subscribe to us over there. If you are currently watching it, like, comment, subscribe, engage the algorithm.
That was a perfect plug. And speaking of butt cheeks...
Speaking of plugs, wait
a minute.
Shit.
Oh no. Oh no, we've gone down the rabbit hole.
The rabbit butthole.
Speaking of rabbit holes.
That is my
Great
number
whiskey
one
com-
song
great
list
whiskey
too
company.
on Wrapped.
Great whiskey company, actually. I don't know why somebody thought Rabbit Holes was a great name for a whiskey brand, but they make good stuff.
It's a really good song.
Not
It
a
was my
sponsor.
number one
Not a
played on
sponsor.
Spotify, thanks to my Hetty playlist.
Nice. Actually,
Also my
that'd be really, really fun, is like, if anybody made a playlist for their characters reviewing it before the next campaign comes out.
Oh, I already started my next characters playlist.
Hell yeah. Hey.
I made
I've,
one.
yeah.
I made one for Alvin. I made one for Dietrich. I did not make one for Cyrus.
I gave you a song for Alvin's, I remember.
I think you might have. Yeah.
Yeah, Hammer and the Anvil by Longest Johns.
Yeah, I didn't end up using it. I
Oh,
don't think.
okay.
But
Yeah.
I made a playlist for Fair. I was listening to it earlier today.
Get you in the mood. All right. Plot synopsis. What?
I didn't for Cyrus because it all just would have been like Cats in the Cradle.
I think you told. I think you were joking when you said this, but you said you made a playlist for Cyrus and it was just Cats in the Cradle like 15 times.
I was joking. I didn't actually do that.
That would have been incredible, though. Here's my Cyrus playlist. It's just Cats.
It would have been like
all the way down.
Cats in the Cradle and like Butterfly Kisses.
Oh no! What's the song? Oh man. Oh man.
What's up, Pussycat?
No.
From that joke about the guy who played it on the jukebox like 900
Yeah.
times.
Father and Son by Cat Stevens.
Yeah.
I knew there was another one from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that was, and I was just like, what is it? It's bugging me.
Yeah.
Anyways. So last week, you defeated the devil from the Bible, in Odoron, destroying the crown in a fight that took an incredibly long time. We were all very, very tired people. And at the end, you realized you had to blow up the machine from both sides. Dietrich taking, I guess, one for the planet and staying on the other side, detonating it, walking away from the explosion as cool people do, and going down fighting the devils and demons that swarmed to try and stop the explosion. And as the explosion goes off on the other side of the portal, in the city of Kunvudor, that is where we start this evening.
Do we know what the explosion is going to do?
You have no idea what the explosion is going to do.
Okay.
Fair just walks straight out of the room, doesn't look back.
Yeah, Farsi as well.
Alright. I think Amherst would follow out behind you guys.
What's the army doing at this moment?
Taking stock and essentially packing up.
Okay.
Um, trying to think of how to word this. I assume Henrietta's following everybody else out too?
Yep.
Okay. You all wouldn't notice the initial signs of what happened. But as soon as the explosion, or the start of the explosion, the implosion that is occurring within the building that you guys have left out of, when it starts to pull the walls of the castle down, you all would see it pulling more and more material into itself.
Like a black hole?
Have you ever seen Spider-Man 2?
A long, long time
Like
ago.
the device Doc Ock made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's pulling material
Okay.
in like that. And slowly shifting from more like an orange explosion like you would expect to see to almost like a whitish blue heat. And that's when people start to scream and run.
Because they're dwarves, so they at least want to see the start of the explosion first.
Yeah. Ooh, fire. Ooh, bad fire. It pulls down. It finally pulls one of the columns near the center thing into itself as that column collapses and rocks start to fall from the ceiling. And you hear like one of the doors that's kind of like walking backwards and kind of matching pace with you all, who seems to be another engineer from Kel, goes, well, as long as it doesn't, throw another support column, the chamber should be fine. And as he's saying that, another one slowly starts to crack and you can see like fissures in it.
Can I just say it kind of amuses me how my camera blur will facially recognize my doll with the fox face, but it will apparently not recognize Megs' dog.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, Megs' dog is staring at Megs, not the camera.
Yeah, Fair's departure has nothing whatsoever to do with the structural integrity or lack thereof in the building. They're just ignoring everyone. Doesn't care if any of the others are keeping up with them.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Getting out of there.
Okay.
Far as you knows what's happened is when stuff starts to collapse underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna run away. Maddie is gonna do her best to try to keep up with Fair. I don't know how well that's gonna go.
Fair's not running or anything. But if you try to touch them, they will pull a knife. Just sort of emphatically pull a knife and just continue ignoring you.
I think Hetty understands, that much, so she's just gonna follow behind. She wants to make sure that you're okay, but also knows not to ask you or any of that right now.
Oh, he does have a charge. As you guys are walking away from this explosion, as looks like it's about to go off and decimate the crater, Emrys will open a gate like 20 feet wide in front of Fair, so that as many people can get through as possible with the last charge of his cube, which I didn't realize he still had. And I get to pick where it goes. So we will say the Underdark by Mirament. To get everybody out of there. As it closes behind, as the last group of people kind of come through, just dust kind of comes through as it closes and ends the spell. You all have gone to this exact location multiple times before, so you knew exactly where you are. Exactly how to get to the Underdark portion of the city, or the portion of Mirament that's in the Underdark. I imagine everybody's basically following Fair, so Fair, where are you going?
Fair's going to Dimension Door somewhere so that everyone stops following them. Are we in Mirament or outside it?
You're in the Underdark, so you're like 20 minutes away from the front gate of Mirament, from getting into Mirament proper.
Okay. Yeah, Fair just wants to be alone. And will disappear. Somewhere, wherever they need to go.
Okay. The spell that gets you 500 feet in any direction, it's not exactly difficult to not be seen. Frodo and Barzu and Henrietta, what are you guys doing? Frodo. That's only like the third time I've ever done that this entire campaign. I'm kind of impressed with myself.
I can't carry this burden for you, Mr. Frodo. But I can carry you.
What are you two doing in this moment?
Just breathing.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the same. Trying to figure out which way Fair went. Knowing that that they want to be alone, but does not want to leave them completely alone.
Okay. I would say, unfortunately, with your perception,
Yeah.
it would basically be impossible for you to see where they went.
Yeah, I know. Is there a bar near?
Yeah.
Varzu's gonna head to the bar.
Okay. Okay.
Are any of our other allies outside the city where we are?
Yeah, there's probably about a couple hundred dwarves that made it through the gate before he closed it.
Anyone like the dusk or the dawn fiend?
No. You imagine
Really?
you imagine they probably teleported themselves out or did something similar to what Emrys did. Okay. I would say that people are kind of a little weirded out seeing, a deep gnome and a bunch of dwarves walk into a drow bar in, like, the slum part of the Undercity. But they sell you guys booze.
Yeah, Varzu will. How many dwarves walk in with me?
A couple dozen.
Okay. Varzu's gonna ask, how much for your best whiskey?
Like, pulls up, like, a dusty bottle of, like, clearly, like, cheap swill. I don't know, like, 3 gold?
How many bottles?
I think I got, like, 2 or 3 down here.
He'll give him 100 gold for the bottles.
He'll pull out, like, the 3 dusty bottles of, like, whiskey and then pull out, like, 4 more bottles of just, like, cheap, clear stuff and be like, yeah, you can take that, too.
Shot classes?
Yeah. And they'll pull up. Just basically hands him, like, a tray that he was just finished cleaning and just puts him up on the counter.
And he'll look at the dwarves and start pouring drinks.
Okay.
and then handing him out to the dwarves.
Just kind of look at each other and look at it, and, like, give it an apprehensive, like, sniff before downing it and holding their glass out for another.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna drink those bottles. Slowly.
Mm-hmm.
At least, Farzu's gonna pace himself. Dwarves? They're dwarves. I'm gonna roll 4d4.
Couple of the dwarves will, probably about half the dwarves will pace themselves.
Okay.
Emrys kind of wanders in while the second round of shots is going on.
Would you like some, Emrys?
Sure. A shot.
Yep. Farzu will pour him a shot. And we'll offer up a toast to the ones that we have lost. Will they never be forgotten?
Cheers. Downs it. On the next shot, one of the dwarven fighters looks a little bit older. You can see like a few battle scars, like this guy's been around a little bit. Kind of will take the shot you pour him and kind of stand up on the stool. From the stone back to the stone. To our victorious dead. And we'll down the shot. As the commotion kind of continues on, more of the dwarves that came with you guys to escape the collapse will find their way here. More drow will find their way here at the noise and like what's going on. And
yeah, Farzu is going to share alcohol with whoever walks in.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Eddie's just trying to figure out how to get back home.
Oh, you're like looking confused in the bar, like.
She's just not sure who's gonna have, like, spells and shit left. Because, like, she could, she's got the wand. She could do sending to people. But she's like, all of her friends are tapped as far as she knows. So she's like, I guess I'm just sitting here.
Emerus will show you the cube and be like, tomorrow. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Just one more night away from our homes, I guess.
It doesn't actually say. I mean, I guess it doesn't say if I can cast it on myself.
What?
Can I use mask suggestion on myself?
Up to 12 creatures of your choice.
Yeah, sometimes it says including yourself, and this one doesn't. So,
Yeah, I have no idea.
well, that would be up to you then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, in this case, why not?
She doesn't want to like impose on anybody else. She's just gonna cast it on herself, and her sentence is just going to be happy tonight. And then she will fail the save. And then she'll sit down and have a drink with the boys.
Okay. Okay. You all drink with some dwarves, trade war stories, make more toasts.
After a couple hours, Fair will come back. Imagine it's not too hard to find a bar in the Underdark overflowing with dwarves.
Not at all.
Especially dwarves who have had alcohol.
Yeah.
And they'll just sort of find Emerus and Farzu and Henrietta and just sort of give them silent nods and then go to the bartender and ask for just 5 glasses, and they'll take out the really fancy elven wine that they'd had preserved in the card captured for goodness knows how long. Just say, I just need 5 glasses. I've brought my own beverage.
Just reaches under the counter and puts the glasses up. It's like Farzu standing on the bar, like pouring whiskey into dwarves' mouths.
Farzu has like one giant muscle with like his whiskey pouring arm.
Yeah. Hands you the glasses. Good thing you brought your own, because they've almost bought me out.
Fair ignores him and goes off to a table. And just pours the first glass and sits it at an empty seat. And then one for each of the others. And then just sits down.
far as you probably seeing this, we'll give the rest of the bottles to the dwarves and go take a seat next to the fair.
Okay.
Hetty will go over.
I think Emrys followed probably almost immediately and waited for the glass at the empty chair before he sat down.
Farah just raises their glass and says, "This would have been his favorite part." And then just downs it.
Yeah, as far as we would down it up after fair. We'll raise it up and just go, salut.
Down it.
And Farah will just sort of stay at that one spot at the table for the rest of the night, just ignoring anyone else who tries to interact with them at all, and except for the others from the group. They will pour you all more wine from the bottle if you want. Otherwise, they will just nurse it themselves and just sit there quietly the rest of the evening.
Okay. Emrys will go back and forth probably between making sure Barzu's being semi-responsible and then sitting at the table for a little glass of wine over the course of the rest of the evening. Yeah.
Hetty will sit there in what appears to everybody else to be silence, but she's just she's talking to Frank, just like, you know, like it's all gonna be okay. We'll go home. We'll just, you know, tomorrow. Everything tomorrow.
You all process in your own ways for the rest of the evening, or winding down.
You said we're like 20 minutes outside of Mirrormint-ish.
Yeah.
I think fair at some, like, later on we'll just say, rooms at my estate are open to you if you need them, and just leave.
Before Farzu leaves to join Fair at the estate, he will leave 50 gold on the counter for the arc. Quietly. And then we'll wander back to the estate.
Hetty's she's gonna follow Farzu, but she's not gonna like try to make it obvious that she has no idea where the fuck she's going.
Has Hetty been there once or not at all
Once.
yet? I can't recall.
Once.
Okay.
But
She
never
has-
walked this way into it.
Right.
Mhm.
She has no clue where she's actually, like, she knows she's outside of your place yeah.
Yeah. I think when Farzu leaves, like, Emrys will make sure that both Henrietta and Farzu end up getting there.
Well, Farzu has keen
Yeah.
mind. He could probably find us where they're, right?
Oh yeah, but after how much has drank, he might make a wrong turn and then remember and go back the other way a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could see it from the lower city, too.
Yeah.
Kind of looms overhead. High above the lower classes. Away from the filth.
Okay. You all make it back to the estate, wandering drunk. The various and sundry servants will point you to the rooms that are open. You all sleep off the battle wounds and the pain of the day, getting a long rest in and waking up.
Farzu doesn't make it to the bed.
Floor.
Curled up in a ball.
Y'all can get a long rest in.
Did Lady Aliagum personally go on the assault with the other drow? Is she here? Or is she still elsewhere?
She would still be elsewhere, yeah.
Okay. I think Fair would just sort of wake up at their usual time, go through the motions, order the servants to prepare breakfast, including some items for surfacers, vegetarian surface elves, and I don't know, does Fair know what Henrietta eats?
No.
They know about the brambleberry pie.
I think like Underdark brambleberries probably bite back, so maybe not that.
No,
But-
knowing Hetty, you
Okay, she might be
Hetty
into
would
that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've probably got some sort of equivalent pastry,
Yeah, probably.
but, you know, not like weird fucked up cave fish or whatever. That's for special occasions.
Yeah, you all wake up the next morning. I think the first
so
time
you won't.
I think the first time Emmer sees Henrietta, he'll ask, "When do you want to go home?"
Whenever's convenient for you.
Okay.
You won't see Farzu at breakfast.
Okay.
He has cast the mansion in the morning. He did leave the door cracked, though. So if anyone kind of goes near where his bedroom would have been, they probably would hear probably some music, soft music.
I think Hetty will pick it up with her ears, perk up, and she'll follow up into Farzu's room. Just
You
walk
are
in
allowed to
the-
walk in,
walk in the mansion and just knock on the door.
and when you look in, you'll see Farzu sitting on the floor in front of Dietrich's bedroom door.
She'll come sit next to you.
And there'll be some port poured in front of the door.
You don't hear this snarky remark from Frank Farzu, but you see Henrietta elbow him in his little gut. Something about alcohol abuse joke, not funny right now.
Do you say that part out loud?
No, you just see her jab him in his rib cage.
Okay.
I think after Farzi doesn't come down for breakfast, Fair would join him after a little while, come by and see what's going on. Not say anything and just sit down.
As we sit there, as we're all sitting there, the door will change to be a portrait of Dietrich.
Y'all can spend all the time in the world in front of the portrait.
It's the problem when you have all the introverts just sitting here and not happy.
Did Willie stop by the bar? Was he with us?
Willie bamfed himself out.
Okay.
Probably thought it wasn't a good idea for an actual beholder who couldn't turn himself into a human again for another day to be around in the Underdark with Drow.
This is true.
I think at some point, Emrys will ask Henrietta if she's ready to go home. And he'll open up a gate in the foyer, and through the portal you'll see your little hollow and your little home and everything.
I think there's too much cat
There's
between
too
you
much
and your
cat-
microphone.
Yeah, I was about to say.
She'll just ask Emrys if he wants to stay for a little bit.
I was gonna open up a gate and go to my house and see what the
That's
druids can
fine.
do to help heal.
It's perfectly fine. Just thought I'd ask.
I know where you live.
This is true. She'll walk through and go home.
As soon as you're through, he'll shrink and close behind you. Emrys will look at Farzu and Fair, and you guys know where I live too. And he'll open a smaller gate, door-sized, that leads into a familiar house. And he'll walk through it. Kind of wave as he closes it up.
Yeah. Fair will stand and bow to each of them as they depart. And then when it's just them and Farzu, they'll look to Farzu and ask, is the back way into his room, does that still exist?
His room is still there.
Good. I think
And-
Fair will sort of disappear to Dietrich's room for the rest of the day.
And Farzi will probably end up in the library. Getting the servants to play a bit more of an uppier beat as the day goes on.
I think after a couple hours, Fair will come out and find Farzu in the library and just ask, so where will you be going from here?
Well, I've been thinking about that. I don't really have a home to go to. So, I was kind of thinking maybe I could stay here with you? Help you with your becoming a lynch, if that's still what you're wanting to do?
I think Fair looks genuinely surprised at that. And just asks, like, they start to look like they want to ask why, but then they stop themselves. And they're like, well, your aid would be welcome if you were willing to do that for me.
Yes.
We have plenty of space here, and we can always dig more rooms if we need to.
No, I've always
so-
got my mansion.
Well, the room where you've pitched your tent, so to speak, is yours indefinitely then.
Thank you.
I'll let my mother and the servants know.
And I won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
What do you mean?
Well, I found a spell that I can clone myself. And when I die from this body, I'll transfer my conscience to my clone.
Fascinating.
And then I can keep brewing my potions.
But all of your
That'd be a
mushrooms,
lot of
aren't
money.
they at Emrys's house?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. But I'm pretty sure I could keep them there and just gather them every once in a while.
Well, and for all you've done for me, I'm sure I could find a bit of space that would grow some mushrooms here if you'd like.
Oh, they'd probably grow better in the deep.
Of course.
That sounds like an idea.
Not sure when my mother will return. I imagine she... Can't imagine her at the vanguard. She'd like to hide behind lots of underlings, but... If she was part of the assault, maybe she'll be back in a day or so. But, well... You are under my protection so long as you stay here.
Why, thank you, Fair.
And let's just say... I hope to make this place my own soon. Just a few things to take care of first.
Of course.
If you wouldn't object to doing a couple chores for me, or errands, but that doesn't need to be today, or even this week.
Oh,
I think we all need some
Would be
time,
great.
unless the wanderlust bites you.
well. Hopefully not. Too soon.
Well, I shall let the servants know you are to be treated as my honored guest. And if you're really curious about my mother's books, I'll see what I can do
Oh,
about that
yes.
as well.
Oh, that would be lovely.
I have ideas in the long term, but for the short term I may be able to get you a tome or two. Anything in particular of interest?
Oh. Anything, really.
Anything.
Yes.
Well, don't be disappointed with what I pick.
Oh, never.
I'm going to return to my real-world quarters for now. I have at least one letter I need to write.
Well, you'll know where I'll be if you need me.
You plan to keep this up all the time?
Yes.
I won't take this as a slight against my hospitality.
No.
Fair will bow and then leave the mansion.
Okay.
If I could jump in here, right.
Yes.
So we're kind of fast forwarding like the next.
Yeah.
few
We're
days.
we're wrapping it up there.
So I'd imagine that Emrys comes home to a big ass pile of unsorted mail.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about that.
And he starts, he doesn't have anybody, so he's,
Oh my
I
God,
imagine,
perfect
just
timing,
going
perfect
through it.
timing, by the way.
oh, hang in chat. He's going through it little by little. And after, let's say, 3 days, there's a knock on his door. And he's got a telegram from the... This sounds very formal. It's from, like, the Casualty and Surety Company of Miramen. Blah, blah, blah. It's about, essentially, the ship's extended warranty. They've been trying to contact him, you see.
Yeah.
Because Dietrich, probably because he thought it was funny at the time, wrote down Emrys as his emergency contact. And apparently, the Port Authority in Roguewater is going to impound the Modesty.
Yeah.
They can't get a hold of the owner. It's still there.
Really knows what happened, so he'll probably contact Emrys directly after a couple days.
Well, but
Yeah.
and it's still there, and nobody's paying for it, and they have 7 days to come claim it, or it's gonna just be impounded. So if they don't want the boat, they've got a week to get all the stuff they want to get off the boat.
Okay.
Or, whatever belongings are on there, or figure out what they're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's it. He can, if he wants to if he's going to get everybody else together or share that information, whatever he decides.
Yeah. He's not buying the extended warranty, though. Yeah, he'll pass the information about the ship along, I'm pretty sure.
Would there possibly be a way to shrink the boat and put it in a bottle?
I mean, if you want to spend time figuring out how to do it, you are a 20th level. You are a 20th level spellcaster.
Yeah, Farzu's gonna try to figure out how to keep the boat.
Okay.
It's mostly important.
Pun not intended.
Sail it away.
Put a cork in that, and we'll get back to it.
Yep.
Like, it's from their perspective, it's not important to them what you do with it. It just needs to be out of the port.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you sail it away. Like, it's not a big deal. But anyway.
I think if Emrys comes to tell everyone else about it, Fair will ask for Gate to Roguewater to go get it.
Okay.
And then maybe bit of help to sail it back to Merriment.
Yeah.
Dietrich was the one who knew how to drive it.
A
They can make the
bunch-
skeletons, but they can't tell them how to drive.
seventh
or
level,
how to sail.
7th level conjure animals for monkeys to help run the ship.
But do the monkeys know how to run the ship?
Given infinite time.
And infinite monkeys, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Could figure
They
I'm
could
not a lich
absolutely-
yet. I don't have infinite time yet.
He'll just burn all of his upcast spell slots on conjure animals until he gets monkeys that know how to pilot his ship.
It'll take him
How many
about
monkeys
infinite
would
time.
this take on average?
I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Yeah, it's Willie feels like he owes you guys, so he will. If you asked nicely, he would give you guys like a couple crew to help you actually like physically pilot the ship. If you can supply the rest of the crew.
Oh, the rest of the crew is in box in the hull, in the hold.
Oh, that's right.
Some assembly required, but we have magic for that.
Mm-hmm. Fun magic.
Yep.
You know,
So you're on the ship now.
Sorry, what Megs?
Is,
I was gonna
oh,
say,
sorry.
you know what would be? I had a thought that I thought would be nice if Fair doesn't want to keep the boat. But that's up to if Fair wants to keep the boat or not.
Fair would like to keep the boat if possible. Fair just has no idea what they're going to do with it once they get it back to Merriment.
That is fair enough. I just
Yeah, they have lots of
maybe-
money. They can just park it indefinitely, kind of like my neighbor did with his car in the garage that would have been really fantastic for people to use for unloading groceries, but he just put his car there and threw a tarp over it.
I just had
I'm
a
not
thought
bitter.
Yeah, I'm-
Maybe we could bestow the ship to Rook.
Potentially. Fair's not going to
So-
want to let it go. Even if they can't do anything with it, they're not going to let it go for a while.
So you're all in Roguewater at this point.
Yeah, probably. They're probably
Yeah.
taking the ship back.
So well, as you are on the ship, and you walk into Dietrich's quarters, or Dietrich and Fair's quarters, because they always shared at sea. What do you do?
Fair would probably just slowly go through everything there. Spends lots of time moping.
If you look in, if you're going through his desk, I imagine in one of
Fair
the
is
drawers.
curious what on earth Dietrich would keep on a desk.
Well, in the drawers,
Mhm.
one of them just has a nice bottle of wine and 4 glasses, and the second one is empty but just has a key. So just a key in there, and then the third and final drawer is locked and has a keyhole.
Try it out.
There's a letter in there, sealed, that's just labeled, "To be opened in the event of my death."
Fair will take it out and go sit on the bed, or go sit in like their window nook maybe where they would read, and open it up to see what's in it.
Right. I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. We're gonna fucking see. Henrietta, Emrys, Farzu, and Fair. If you're reading this, that must mean I'm dead and at least one of you is still alive. Congratulations on your continued vitality. Hopefully, I went down in a blaze of glory, rescuing all of you from the jaws of certain doom. It's how I always meant to meet my end. Becoming an old man like my father, yelling at kids to get off my lawn and reminiscing about how much better everything used to be, this sounds terribly dull. It doesn't suit me at all. I want to die as I lived, fast, loud, and hot as hell. Of course, this is all in the past for you, so you can be the judges of how well I did. I always told you there are no old pirates. I meant it. My deepest wish is for my death to have meant something. I can only hope that my heroic, sexy sacrifice has made the world safer, more peaceful, and more free. And I want that freedom for each of you, too. I'm quite certain you'll all be rich and famous in the next chapter of your lives, with lots of responsibilities as you work with monarchs and diplomats to try to hold this crazy world together. But don't forget to take time for yourselves, too. And every once in a while, get shit-faced and do something irresponsible and think of me. I want to thank you all for laughing with me, crying with me, and loving me, even though we all know I didn't deserve any of you. Our triumphs were that much sweeter, and the hard times were that much easier, because we went through them together. And if this final foolish quest has been the death of me, and you're still here reading this letter, that must mean we saved the goddamn world. Everyone dies. Well, almost everyone. But not everyone truly lives. I'm not in control of how anyone chooses to remember me, but when they sit down to write my story, I should like it if they begin with the day I met you. This time, traveling with all of you, whether it was a campfire in the woods or a ship sailing into port or plane shifting with that dang cube, fighting dragons and gods and the devil himself, it's hard to imagine a fuller life than that. The rest of the world might talk about the cause I died for, but you all gave me something to live for. Finally, to my beloved Fair, you accomplished the most difficult and impossible thing of any of us. You made me fall in love. I always thought I couldn't, like there was something in my blood that just didn't agree with it. But against all odds, I fell for you, and fell hard. You are a remarkable person, and I can only hope you've rubbed off on me even a little. Dead or alive, I'll love you until the world ends. Thank you for loving me. And thank you for the best murder dates the world will ever know. I do want to apologize if my demise came as a shock or a surprise, and I'm sorry that I won't be here to share another year, another month, or another hour. I want you to know that I'm ready for it, whenever and however it happens. And I don't want to leave too much unfinished business, so please accept this last gift. I, Dietrich Balthazar, of my own free will and accord, hereby bequeath all of my remaining worldly possessions, including but not limited to the good ship Modesty, to Ferofane Aliangem, in perpetuity. With all the love in the multiverse, Dietrich. P.S. Please tell my mother I made good in the end.
EPS, please clean my browser history. Oh, man.
Oh, Fair probably did that first. They know him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have figured. Fair's got 22 intelligence. Alright. So I'm gonna steal a Matt Mercer quote because I really like it from campaign 2, which is because it uses a fancy French word, which is denouement. The end of the road, the wrap up. It could just be simply talking. It could be, little roleplay vignettes, challenges. We might still have to roll some dice. We're gonna still have to roll some dice tonight. But what we're gonna do to give us a little break after that, because I'm sure if we're not crying outside, we're crying inside. I'm gonna go kick it over to the first person to go who's not here tonight, Emrys. And then we will go to break, like our actual break screen, and then when we come back, one of you guys can fight and chat during break, and one of you can go first. And we'll wrap this thing up. So with that, I'll turn it over to Past Me, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Thank you, Future Ryan, for the introduction for this evening's session. As stated, unfortunately, one of our players couldn't make it to the final session, so we're here doing the post-campaign stuff. I probably used the word denouement because I'm pretentious in my introduction on Wednesday evening. We're sitting here before then with Aang, aka Emrys. Yeah, what is the next, I don't know, year, 5 years, 10 years, 10,000 years look like?
The next 10,000. Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Okay.
Because Emrys kind of can bleed into quite a few campaigns.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of weird having a character that can be this old to me. I would say the next year, though, after leaving the party, because I feel like Emrys kind of goes his own way and goes back to his home to reunite the Druid circles and spend a lot of time forging new bonds with them, because ultimately through all of this, I think he feels like it's time for the Druids to get out and do something other than hide in their little tree homes and help.
Okay.
More or less. More politicking than anything, and I hate to say that. But for the next year or so, it's just a difference, because also the Druids haven't had an Archdruid in a long time that's had the staff completed and actually had guidance and leadership to from what I can understand.
Yeah.
From what I've seen in the past. There's the council and all those other pieces, but they don't really go out and speak with the Druids that are there. They're just kind of in their own little world, to say the least.
Yeah, totally. Emrys learns to play politics.
Yes, it's a sad game. It's a sad game, but
oh man,
someone has to do it. I feel like definitely invites the party back to come hang out. It's an open door pretty much for them, where they head off in their little bit. I could see 10 years down the road, Emrys handing the staff over, though, not wanting to play that game anymore, having already been through enough.
Okay.
Having to play the politics game for 10 years and knowing that that was never what he wanted when he set out.
Yeah.
Handing it to someone who actually, as much as he earned it, someone that wants to do better, not someone that wants the power, but someone that wants to do better things and be involved in the politics, because it's just not who Emrys was ever. And eventually the power is got too many responsibilities.
Sponsorabilities get to you.
Yeah. Also, Dietrich's death and demise
Yeah.
still kind of shakes him to this day that he couldn't save someone.
Yeah. I can understand that from Emrys's point of view for sure. Is there any?
Emrys has never let anyone die except for the people that wanted it, but he didn't want Dietrich to leave the realm and, or the world or the plane, and actually kind of, I'm assuming he saw what happened to Fair with all of that, and kind of why he went into the first year of just like, leave me aloneness.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. I think it totally tracks. So after you give up the staff, what?
Emrys stays and kind of advises, or is there to advise the person who is taking over that role, the person who hasn't seen the things he has, but he doesn't want to go back to having to see them again. He doesn't want to go through that again, is why he does it, more or less, but is there to help guide, give the nuggets of wisdom that he gave through the whole campaign.
Modesty.
That's how he was.
It is. Huh? Oh man.
But I also still feel like he goes back to that modesty and says, I never wanted the power. I never wanted to be this leader. I don't want that. I can help you, but that's not who I want to be.
Yeah. It was kind of thrust upon him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Does he ever become like a part of the world again? Because like, his name, and you guys are name brand recognized heroes all over the world.
I feel like after he gives up the staff, he does spend time with the other circles and helping people. More of his time is spent doing that and traveling the world than being stuck in an office sorting mail that he never wanted to sort to begin with. Going to appearances that he had to, and
especially
making decisions
because he doesn't have his number one mail sorter, Dietrich.
Yeah, 100%. Because like 2 weeks in, he's just like, I don't want to go through the mail anymore. I'm getting stacks like this big every day of come make a random appearance.
Yeah. To help out in the world. Okay.
It's the selfless route that's always kind of there if they need him, but more helping the people that are forgotten about. Maybe it's a farmer here or there that needs rain, or it's, things like that. It's the small tasks that are forgotten about.
Goes around
but it's
and
not
basically
stealing.
becomes like a miracle worker.
Yeah. But it's not stealing. Dietrich would want him to do that, but he's not going to.
That's interesting. I kind of love it. I kind of love that.
Also, Also, kind of keeps in touch with One Eye Willie.
Yeah.
Tries to after everything because he knows how much he helped Dietrich and got to where they were. So without him, it wouldn't have ended how it did.
Okay. I was gonna say spoilers because it hasn't happened yet, but to you it has already happened. You're just not gonna be there for it. When the gate implodes in, because Kun Bador collapsed in like the cavern it was in and collapsed entirely because of the explosion. Do you think like Emrys ever goes back and tries to dig it out? Helps with the cleanup. Make sure nobody takes a piece of the gate.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think ultimately the goal would be to make sure the gate can never exist.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. And then I have to ask this because it's one of the primary themes of the next campaign. To be totally honest, as hold up, I gotta change the spacing so I can actually read this. As technology of like electricity and steam engines and these new emergent technologies start coming out, 50, 60 years from now, when the dwarves finally are able to reveal them to the world and they start to spread, how does Emrys, as somebody who's in tune to nature, react to that?
I think it's a tough balance between warning them against it and then wanting to use the ones that are better, because I feel like through the time that happens, because it's fucking 10,000 years of this, he kind of takes the time to pick apart the ones that are good and the ones that are bad, and maybe leans on some of the others around him to figure out what the long-term problems could happen from it, and tries to warn people about some of them. Of course, I feel like his word is taken with the druids, but I don't think it's taken with everyone else. Like, there are things that are good from it.
Okay.
But then there are obviously probably a lot of bad things, as we, that happen to the planet.
Yeah.
And I think it's protecting places that need to be protected too. That's what he would do.
Yep. And just because I did the math, Emrys would live to be 6,320 as an archdruid. So, mini campaigns to come.
He'll be around.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah.
Working miracles.
Working miracles. Just going around the world, just being like the druid that shows up and solves problems and disappears back into the woods. That's kind of fun. Oh man, 105 episodes, 2 years and 10 months. Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. Anything else?
It's going to be sad to not do this campaign anymore. It was a good one.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, thanks for taking the time, and I'll be going to break now in reality on Wednesday evening, and then when we come back, we'll wrap it up with everybody else. So thank you guys.
And then I will. I'll see y'all next Wednesday campaign too.
Yeah, next Wednesday. We were talking about that on Monday on the stream, and getting Woofin and a couple guest stars for the opening arc, and it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
We've got some secrets coming at you.
I'm excited to jump 85 years into the future.
Oh God, there's a chance I have to play 2 characters at once.
No, now that the campaign is over, they are mine.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Potentially. We'll see what happens. So, all right. Thank you very much again. I'm going to turn it over to Wednesday night, Ryan, to go to break, and when we come back, we'll handle everybody else's.
All right, future Ryan. Have fun with it. All right, future Ryan. Have fun with it.
Not much.
Hi, everyone. We're back. Hello. I hope everybody enjoyed our little our vignette and our video and our little break. We're back, heading into the end of the campaign and what everybody does. You kind of got to a peek of what it's going to be like if you guys have never done one of these with me. So, Barzu.
Mm-hmm.
What in the next 1, 5, 10 years look like for him?
Well, I think Farzio is definitely going to be helping Fair with their lynchdom. But as that's lynchdom.
Lynchdom.
As that's lynchdom.
You're saying a very different
Whatever.
word.
It's okay. Well, as they're working through that, he is working with his mushrooms
Okay.
and getting them to everywhere, all over Odoron.
Okay.
And when he reaches 200, the age 200,
Mhm.
he is going to create a clone of himself.
Okay.
So every time he dies, he will be born again into a 200-year-old body that he cloned from himself.
Okay.
And he's going to keep it going as long as he can, keeping the clone's age at 200. So I don't think if he did it earlier, and he gets more power when he's older, I don't think it would go back, and when he dies and goes back to his younger form, he wouldn't have the power.
Okay.
I don't know if that would work that way or not, but we'll say 200. Keep it a nice round number.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's it? It's just selling mushrooms and
Yeah. Keeping things going.
Okay.
He might eventually find someone, maybe,
Okay.
but only time will tell.
All right. Yes, I have a series of prepared questions for everybody.
Awesome.
Do you think you ever go... 2 questions. Do you think you ever go back to Draxel?
Probably
Okay.
once a year.
Okay.
Yeah, once a year he'd probably go back. Probably would leave flowers or something at the entrance to Drixel. He would never try to get into Drixel, though.
Okay. Makes total sense. Do you think you ever track down your wife's sister?
Yes. Yeah. He probably would. And probably at that point, he probably would have made a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
And he probably would give her a few hundred.
Okay.
Making sure that his wife's family lives well.
All right. This is a way longer form question than like the next 10 years for the last one. Every time you pass on before you get to your clone,
Mm-hmm.
what do you tell the Raven Queen?
Do I tell her?
Yeah. When she pulls you beyond the veil before you go into your clone body.
Not today, my lady. You will have me soon.
Just one more time.
When it's the last, probably the fourth time, he will say, "This is the last."
Okay. I'm trying to think of how to word this. When you finally agree to go beyond the veil with the Raven Queen, what does that moment look like to Farzu? What's the first thing he sees when he goes beyond the veil, when the Raven Queen pulls him from the material plane?
Hopefully, his wife,
Okay.
and then hopefully Dietrich.
Yeah.
Holding a glass of something.
Yeah. In that moment, because you guys do end up going to the same place for what you have done to the upper planes. As people of chaotic neutral alignment, you end up in Eastgard, which is a realm of soaring mountains and hordes and battlefields. It is, for all purpose, I completely knocked the own word out of my head. The place from Norse mythology. You're muted.
Valhalla?
Valhalla, yes, thank you. Jeez. Or if you so choose, heroes wage eternal battle on the fields of glory for bragging rights and for drinks. So in the moment when Farzu finally pulls himself away from his clone cycle and Dietrich sees him for the first time in probably like 1,000 years. What do you say?
About time you showed up.
So sorry, I had to make sure my potions took off well. And I had to make sure someone could take over for me. It took a while. No one had the real neck for creating it.
Oh, well, thank the gods you're here. It's been terribly dull without you.
Oh, Dietrich. Now the fun has just begun.
We'll just give him a big hug and
Oh yeah, Farzi would hug right back.
You walk off into the scenic landscape, recounting stories of what happened since he's gone, and
yeah,
Yep,
I don't
telling him
I-
everything.
I don't think Dietrich would ask about what is happening on the material plane. I think 1,000 years of afterlife, you know, you probably barely care, barely remember, but you remember your friends.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd definitely tell him about the lovers I've had and how much drugs I've made and how much money.
All the
And
stuff
what I
Dietrich
did with the
cares
money.
about.
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay. Yeah. So what are the next 1, 5, 10 years look like for Henrietta?
You know, she goes back to her little hovel in the woods, and she kind of like Emrys, like she goes around and does, appearances of good deeds. It's very weird for her as a warlock because she gets asked to come heal people all the time. But it's hilarious to her because at least 50% of the time she shows up to these places, as a goth rabbit, and people only know her by name and her abilities, and they don't no idea that she's actually a goth warlock. And so it's hilarious to her. So she's doing good deeds, but she also gets a laugh out of it. So it's,
Awesome.
worth her time. And she makes a little bit of money here and there doing that kind of stuff, but obviously she doesn't charge to heal people because that feels scummy. Cough, America, healthcare, cough. But she
Shout outs to my boy Luigi.
Culver's made a post on Facebook, and it was just a bunch of their crew members, and it says, "We wouldn't snitch." I was like, okay. Anywho.
In this house, we love Culvers.
I love Culver's. So she makes a little bit of money, and of course she gives that back to her giant ass family for the rabbit farm, the carrot farm. And that's really about it. She keeps in contact with Farzu and Fair, and, you know, she makes a little bit of money, and of course she gives that back to her giant ass family for the rabbit farm, the carrot farm. And that's really about it. She keeps in contact with Farzu and Fair, and, you know, she makes a little bit of money, and of course she gives that back to her giant ass family for the rabbit farm, the carrot farm. And that's really about it. She keeps in contact with Farzu and Fair, and Emrys here and there. She'll invite Fair to come over to the cottage for tea, and we can talk about stuff. And Fair can kill all the plants for her. Yeah, but I mean, she just stays in. That's where she stays, and is in the forest. She, for the most part, tries to lead a simple, quiet life. But she's a little more asked about now.
Okay. Stays and tells stories to the nieces and nephews.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Always recounting stories.
At this point, she's got, like 40 nieces and nephews.
I forgot what you were playing for a second. I was like, wow, they multiply like rabbits. And then I was
No shit, sir!
Wait a minute. You're muted.
Plot twist.
You're muted. You're muted.
Lenny, muted.
Sorry. I was
missed
just
your
like,
word.
oh, okay, you've got 40. That's the first month. What happens after that?
Oh god, I sense an oncoming calculus problem.
That's great. It's really cool. The only question you didn't really answer that was on my list in terms of homework. Do you think you ever go back and visit the library in Ilarion again and
Oh yeah,
visit
absolutely.
with the Bright Queen and the?
She goes back and helps with the rebuild of Ilarion to the best of her. She doesn't really have things to construct. She has a lot of spells to help annihilate things, cover them in blood, but not really rebuild. But she has mending and some other things. So she helps with, she goes more tends to the people. She can't really do a whole lot with construction, but yeah, she totally goes and helps rebuild the library. And then she does have one ask for Saloon before she dies.
Okay.
Which is, it's not a very specific thing, but it's like, if my family ever needs, simple enough help, then please help them in whatever way you can.
When you make this quest, you look up at the moon, and you almost see like the moon, the shadows on it almost like take a bow towards you.
She bows back.
You feel like that warmth that you haven't felt since that day when you went to her temple on the Silver Sea. And you know that she heard you. And that she will watch out when the moon is in the sky. Oh, the tradition continues.
I didn't even do anything this time.
I know. It's like every time I see you start to get teary and cry, like I just did, my waterworks start. Man. Now it's time for the big one. Fair.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What,
I never had any lofty aspirations.
Never.
Not me.
What does your next 1, 5, 10 years look like?
I think in like the first couple days after getting Dietrich's letter, Fair will take out a letter that they had mostly written but not been able to bring themselves to finish yet, to finish writing it and send it to Dietrich's mother in Roguewater, was it? No.
Wilmeth.
Wilmeth, sorry.
Yeah, Wilmeth, sorry.
And it will just say, Lady Ursula, forgive my directness, but I realize I don't think I know your surname. I feel that I should be the one to tell you that Dietrich is gone. The full details of events leading to his death would fill a tome, but trust me when I say that his sacrifice saved you, me, this world, and everyone in it. We all owe him our lives. The one time I had the pleasure of meeting you, you seemed independent and well off, but nonetheless I wanted to tell you that you are welcome to call on me if there's anything at all that you should ever require. You can reach me at the Aliancum estate in Mirament. If I'm not there, the message will still find its way to me. And if you find yourself in Mirament for whatever reason, feel free to call on me and visit. You will always be welcome in my family home. To return to the tome I alluded to earlier, I do plan to pen my recollection of our endeavor in its entirety. I need to write it for my own sake to process all that we've experienced and the loss of the man that I love. But as you have also lost a son, I wanted to offer to write a copy for you as well. I promised Dietrich that he would always be remembered. Please let me know where to send this. Sincerely, Ferrofay and Aliangim.
Okay.
And then in the coming years, or I guess in the coming months, they will get in touch with Lirin again. That guy in Cotvert with the Phoenices that we kind of ruined his life a little bit.
He made his way to Linnaeus, by the way, but you didn't know that.
Okay.
Where he's
Well,
from.
I mean,
Yeah.
Fair is very good at finding people.
Yeah.
So Fair wants to reestablish contact with him, offer to become something of a patron, and
He's always looking to not spend his own money in somebody else's, so he will gladly accept.
good. And Fair will be looking for a very specific set of ingredients, a very specific set of unusual creatures, and will enlist his aid in acquiring those items.
With your estate and the money that you all have, and his knowledge, it is not difficult for you to acquire the material components you need.
Okay.
It's a little time consuming, it takes months, but
I mean, months? I'm an elf.
yeah, exactly.
And speaking of elves, am I also able to procure at some point a scroll of Modify Memory to add to my repertoire?
Yes.
Fair will stop by Alarian and, without announcing themselves to anyone, without making themselves known, just sort of as discreetly as possible, will find their way back to the tomb of the first king.
Okay.
Put the sword of Dusk and Dawn back into the, I guess, now empty coffin. Put the lid back on. And restore the wards that had been there when they found the sword, including the Modify Memory spells.
Okay.
Direct people away from the doorway, and just they'll check in on the Dusk King and Dawn Queen, you know, make official visits or whatever, but just not breathe a word to anyone about the sword.
All right.
I suppose thank the spirit within it before they part with it.
Okay. The sword is very grateful to be returned.
Wait for the next worthy hand to pick you up,
Yes, indeed.
and know that it might not take the form you're expecting.
That is true.
But I've fulfilled my promise, and you may go back to your rest
And
when your people need you again.
post peace talks and peace stations in the world, the royalty of Valerian is always welcome to receiving you or any of the houses that helped.
And then I think Fair will just sort of live at home, occasionally in Farzi's mansion if he's there, and make their plans until they have everything prepared. I don't know, Farzu, could Fair invite their mother to the mansion?
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm sure the servants will be able to handle the mess.
Of course.
Fair will use their mother's sacrifice to attempt the ritual to ascend to lichdom.
Okay.
And just say, as he kills her, to not necessarily to her, to no one in particular, but to Lolth, like, oh, specifically to Lolth, like, this isn't for you. Her screams are mine and mine alone. I shed her blood in no name but my own. She is no sacrifice to you, and you hold no power over me. The coincidence of your request is just be glad that my will serves as a convenience to you.
Hell yeah.
This is for me and me alone.
Hell yeah. So we can rewind a little bit. I assume you get Farzu's help in constructing your phylactery, your soul jar.
If Farzu is willing to aid.
Definitely.
And since you do have assistance, it lowers the difficulty of this. It
Okay.
is a DC 28 Arcana check.
Alright,
And you,
roll with
obvi-
advantage.
and you do have advantage, yeah.
Because it's evil as hell.
is evil as hell.
I rolled 2 11s for 2 29s.
Hell yeah. You and Farzu, with your exceptional spell crafting or spell casting ability, are able to impart magic into whatever vessel you so choose to turn into your soul jar.
Yeah.
To become a lich.
I've got something in mind. Just let me know if I should tell you or tell stream or...
Yeah, you can tell me later, because that probably will be another campaign secret.
Yeah.
Later on. For me and me alone. The...
Oh.
I could probably tell Farzu, because, like, I'll tell Proto, because Farzu would know what it is.
Yeah. And then the potion just takes time
Mm-hmm.
to do everything correct and soak it for 24 hours, and then sacrifice the human, which you just did. And since it is taking place in an area replete with magical energy, which is Farzu's mansion is, it is a DC 25 check on the actual ascension process here. As you drink, kill him, put the potion in, down it.
Drink it from her bleeding heart.
Yes.
Well, either this will kill me and I'll get to see Dietrich again, or it will kill me and I'll come back, and I will have other things to accomplish. Wish me luck, Farzu.
Good luck, Fair. I'll be here.
Okay, so it's 28. What did you say the DC was?
25.
Okay, cool.
Roll a D100 for me.
I thought to take some.
Very cool.
71.
Okay. You see Fair drink the potion and fall over dead. Like that is what physically happens here. As you see her thread pull up.
There.
Or their thread pull up and out. But then you see, like, this blue strand of magic come out of the soul jar and into the body.
Huh.
And it stays like that.
As far as you think it worked.
Make an Arcana check.
Oh, that's the wrong mouse. Uh, 30.
You are pretty sure it worked.
Yeah.
And they will wake up after 7 days.
So, Farzu needs to move Fair's body.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Or I don't know. You can recast the mansion. Can you keep it up continuously if you recast it? Or no? Like the plane is
it
still
would-
there, right?
No, the plane vanishes on Magic Mansion.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And then I cast it and a new plane opens up. So, Farzu would cast Bigsby's hand a few times, like twice.
Are you calling me fat?
No, but
Oh, man.
You know, Fair only looks like 5'2" because they're wearing those stiletto heels, right?
yes.
Anyways. Yeah, between Bigsby's hand and you having the portal, it's not hard to keep them in the portal for a length of time.
Okay.
Would you, even though it will have no effect on this campaign, would you like to know all of the benefits you just received?
Sure.
For posterity's sake. You are...
Posterior sake. Speaking of butt cheeks.
Hey! You are considered undead, you do not age, and you do not require air, food, drink, or sleep, although you may consume food or sleep if you wish to. You gain... Your spellcasting ability and racial features remain the same that they were in life. You gain proficiency in Constitution saves if you do not have it already. Your physical appearance changes to that of a skeletal figure with dried skin and decrepit flesh strung over it. If you so choose, your pupils develop a fiery or burning magical effect. And
Obviously.
And if you so choose, after you regenerate in your phylactery once, you may simply choose to forgo your flesh and skin. You emanate a visible aura of power out to 90 feet that you can suppress and manifest at will at the start of your turn. This aura functions.
Fuck yeah.
This aura functions constantly as a detect magic spell, whether or not the visual aura is suppressed or not.
Badass.
You become infused with magical energy and gain resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage from non-magical weapons. You are now immune to the exhausted and poisoned condition, as well as cold, necrotic, and poison damage. You gain true sight out to 120 feet. You gain rejuvenation. If your soul jar is not destroyed, you gain a new body in 1d10 days, regaining all hit points and becoming active again. You gain turn resistance. You have advantage on against any saving throws that turns undead or deals extra damage to undead. You gain paralyzing touch, a melee spell attack that deals 3d6 cold damage or paralyze the target on a failed con save. And you also learn the spell Soulbind using a 5th level spell slot.
And that's for feeding the phylactery.
Yes. That is the spell that binds a soul to your phylactery, which creatures. And you have to maintain your phylactery with magical properties. The length of time a soul reinforces the phylactery is equal to 6 months multiplied by the sacrifice's CR level.
Okay. Gotta go on my murder dates alone, but that's fine.
Yep.
I think Fair just never quite able to shake their certain vanity they had in life. They have sort of like a gold mask crafted to look like how their face looked in life, and they just wear that all the time. Along with like a white hood to match like how their hair looked, and of course the big ass Tyrion purple wizard hat.
Okay.
And robes. And they will claim ownership of House Aliankim after. Their siblings are welcome to serve or die. And their children and their children's children and all of their descendants are welcome to serve or die. They'll continue to sort of pursue their own magical research. Because, you know, there's another step beyond lichdom that we're kind of interested in here while we've got that book.
Yeah.
And in the meanwhile, they will sort of slightly renovate the house, the estate, and to have sort of a section off for a library. Those who would like to study are welcome to try. Fair doesn't take students precisely.
Okay.
But all of the house's books are available there, should Farzu like to read any of them.
He's gonna read every single one of them.
Except for Fair's baby book, they're putting that one away. That's
the only one the runes are staying on.
Yeah. Also, I think well, Fair's mom was like that meme that was like, I don't care if the baby's cute, I just care about their employability. So probably not actually a baby book.
It has like drawings from like the first 6 months, and then just got tired of doing it and just kept stuffing them in between the pages. Like most parent, never mind. Anyway.
Kids are like pancakes. You always fuck up the first couple. And I think Fair will also probably tease Farzu a little bit, like, oh, just clones every 200 years. You don't want to try this.
No. I do eventually want to move on.
I can't imagine why. Well, that's a lie. I know why. But you've got a while first, I'm sure. As long as you like, I suppose.
Yes.
And Fair will also make sure to hand over to Farzu specifically the Tome of Clear Thought, which 100 years after they've read it will become active again, and as promised, it is entrusted into Farzu's hands for him to do as he likes with after.
He would read it. Well, that's why he'd wait till 200.
I see. So you read it and get the boost, and then reset to after reading the book.
Smart.
Excuse me. Smart man.
Smart.
That's why you're a wizard. And yeah, they will write down the story of all of the crazy shit that they went through. They'll keep in touch with the others, ask for their input about what all happened before they sort of joined the crazy group. And pen maybe a slightly watered down version to give to Dietrich's mother if she desires a copy.
She would request a copy, give you the address to ship it to and everything.
All right. So Fair would make several copies of the book, having their unseen servant sort of scribe copies alongside them, but they would make sure to scribe one for her by hand themselves.
Okay.
And send that to her. Probably before doing the Lich thing, so they're slightly less creepy.
Okay.
But only slightly.
Only slightly less creepy.
Like, a Lich shows up at her door with an Amazon box.
I just thought of this question, and I guess it also applies to Farzu too. If you want to answer after Fair here. In all the time you have, do you think you ever attempt to plane shift to Odoron to find out if anything's still there?
Fuck yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Fair absolutely wants to know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It is barren, torn apart chunks of rock floating in this demi-plane that has just been absolutely ripped apart and destroyed. Like buildings floating in the air and sky. There's not really anything of... Each piece has, like, its own gravity, basically, to it now because of the magic that ripped it apart and everything.
Like that one level in Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, exactly. Where you can, like, run along buildings and then jump and then get picked up by the gravity of a different piece and get stuck to it.
Yeah.
And run and move around that. And when you guys do research there and go there, it seems like nothing survived the explosion. I imagine you guys would try and find the throne room to see if it was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would absolutely find pieces of it floating around. It has been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
But none of the devils or demons, the Rust Knight did not. Nothing survived the explosion except for these shards of stone floating in a demi-plane forever, trapped. I don't know why I didn't have that question on my list. I just thought of it.
I do think, right, if you'll permit.
Yeah.
As you're exploring the shards of stone floating from piece to piece, even though nothing survived, I think you might find a couple objects that look like they might be scrimshaw needles.
Fair would collect those for sure. Is there also a demon bone with a dick scrimshot on it?
Probably. No. No.
I was just trying to figure out, like, what's the most innocuous item that could maybe still be there?
But they were hoping for an innocuous item.
I think with all of the time in the world and then some, Fair would also, later on at least, learn to sail the ship with their skeleton crew.
Cool.
And they would rename the Modesty to the 10th Hell, which is what the world would have been without Dietrich, and what Fair's world is now without him.
Oh. Man.
All these damn onions!
God, can we... God, stop cutting onions in front of the air vent in my house.
Yeah, I've been a fucking mess ever since this would have been his favorite part.
Yeah, right.
My god.
So I guess the last question I had on my sheet. Does Fair ever attempt the ritual of ascension?
Yes,
Okay.
but after Lichdom, they have all the time in the world. They want to make sure that they get it right.
Okay.
They will take as much time as they need.
So not a next campaign problem. I love it.
I mean, I guess not.
No, I assume that would take more than 85 years.
Yeah. Gotta wait for, like, planetary alignment and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never too soon to get followers, cough cough.
Yeah. They're not, they don't
I
exactly,
wonder if that was a hint at anything. Weird.
I mean, they're not exactly recruiting people, but there is sort of, word gets out that there is a library of...
Yeah.
It keeps growing with more and more books.
You slowly start building
and
up your...
That might not be Farzu's fault.
Oh, it can absolutely
Today-
be partially Farzu's fault if he would like. If he would like to donate to the library, fair, I'll collect as well.
Yeah, you slowly
Oh, yeah.
start to build up your following. I love it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do they stay in Mirament? Are they just like the Lich Queen of Mirament, or do they take the ship and like find a little island somewhere where nobody can ever find them? And
Yeah, actually, yeah. You staying at the state,
like,
right?
what does their immortal life look like?
They just sort of their periarch of their clan or of their house, and they just sort of live there like they would have as the ruler. It's just they just don't die. I think they would gain a certain amount of influence over politics in Mirament just by virtue of being there, pulling strings, being able to play the very, very long game. They're not interested in, mustache twirling government takeovers and becoming some sort of tyrant ruler or anything, but they definitely want influence over it. And they will still also sort of, travel when they feel like it. I imagine they probably have some sort of network of magic and servants to ensure that they get messages fairly promptly, but they would travel sort of as they see fit. But always come back to Mirament.
Okay. All right.
And let me know if they need to kill any of their siblings, because they'll do it.
I would say they'd probably have to kill one of their siblings to take full control.
Probably
of the
their
family.
sister. Probably their sister.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally had like the family tree up, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
Would at least try and then it's like, oh, yeah, no, going against Fair didn't work out very well. We're just gonna, fall in line at this
You
point.
can serve or you can die.
And they thought it was, and their sister thought it was an empty threat. Oops. Guess who fed their phylactery?
Nom nom. Family blood.
Family souls. Anybody?
I've got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So, me and Fair are the only ones that know the Orderon language, right?
I think Henrietta has it too.
I can read any language.
Yeah.
I can't.
Could Farzu write a book teaching the language?
Yeah.
So Farzu would take time to write the book to teach the language of Orderon.
Okay.
Fair would have the items we took from Karuri in the library, available to those who would show interest. There is no forbidden knowledge. You are entitled to know anything that which you wish to pursue. And Ferret will come and clear out Henrietta's yard of undesired plants anytime she wants.
Anybody else have anything to add? Okay. Well, thank you guys a lot. It's been a blast.
Thank you,
Last
Rai.
2 years, 10
Yeah.
months, and everything.
Thank
And
you.
let's do it again sometime. Sound good?
Sure. Next month?
Yeah. Works
Next
for
month?
me. Works for me.
After Christmas?
Yeah. We'll get together after Christmas and talk about maybe doing it or something.
Hey, I had this really crazy idea. Can I play a gelatinous cube? That thinks
Again.
it's people?
Again.
That thinks it's people?
Again. Again, really? Okay.
No.
I guess.
I was just talking about Monday.
Oh. Oh man, it's crazy. It doesn't feel like, I was gonna say it feels like we just started yesterday, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's been going on a lot longer, but it's been a blast.
It
Thank-
has.
Thank you guys very much. I am going to send you off to somewhere cute and fuzzy where we can go watch some ferrets be ferrets. Because I feel like we all need that.
We all need to touch grass and hug something furry.
We all need to go watch some ferrets twitch in their sleep and run around and play in their cages. And I feel like we just need that right now.
All my furries are gone.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go hug my cat.
Okay. Thank you, Taya. Appreciate it. And we'll be back on Monday for the Christmas one-shot, which is the 23rd of December. If this comes out after, if you guys are watching this after, if you guys are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and engage the algorithm, please, and thank you very, very much. And we'll be back sometime in the new year for the next Wednesday campaign. Peace out.